I never thought I'd be the cause of such intense family drama, but here we are. Let me give you all some context about my family. So, my mom has been a single mom most of her life. She had me when she was 16 and then didn't have any luck in relationships for the longest time. She was in and out of relationships with weird men until she met my stepfather when she was 38. Being in a stable relationship after so long, she was just all over the place, making sure she made everything perfect for my stepfather. My stepfather also had a daughter from his previous marriage. She's around 5 years younger than me. Let's call her Mia. By the time my mom married my stepdad, I had already moved out and was working. Mia was still in school when my mom married her dad, so we were never really that close. The thing about my stepsis is that I think she never really liked my mom, and her dad felt guilty about marrying my mom because Mia felt like he was trying to replace her mom. So things have always been a little tense, and my mom has always been a bit over the top trying to win her affection. Initially, I tried to talk to her about this, but she refused to admit it, and eventually, I just let it be. About a year ago, my stepsister was getting married and her bachelorette party was coming up. I was really surprised when Mia reached out to me and asked if I would be her maid of honor. We are not close, so that felt weird, but she explained that she had a major fallout with her friend group and didn't trust them. I was still a little unsure about the whole thing, but felt guilty about turning her down, so I just said yes. I was involved in the wedding planning and all after that, and found that my mom and stepdad were actually paying for most of the wedding. That was fine for me. I mean, it's their money. But then my mom said that she wanted me to pay for the bachelorette party expenses. I didn't want to do that, but my mom practically begged me, saying the wedding was bringing them closer and she doesn't want drama. And since I have a good job, it shouldn't be a problem for me. I didn't mind chipping in a little, but I was surprised when they told me that the party was going to be a pretty fancy thing because Mia wanted to fly out to Vegas and party for the weekend. Including me, there were 5 people in the bridal party, so it was kinda expensive. The cost of the party was more than what I was willing to spend, but my mom insisted that it was important for me to contribute as the maid of honor and the bride's older sister. So I reluctantly paid up, and my stepsister had a great bachelorette party. Honestly, I had fun there too and was almost convinced that it was worth it. Mia seemed really grateful as well, so I just decided to let the whole thing go. Fast forward to just 2 days before the wedding day, and I had just gotten my bridesmaid dress and everything. I had even bought Mia's wedding present and was looking forward to the day like an idiot. But then I got a call from Mia saying she wanted to meet me and had something important to say. I went to her apartment to see her, and she told me that her ex-best friend, whom she had a fallout with, had reached out to her and apologized to her, and now she wanted her to be the maid of honor. She half-heartedly gave me an apology and told me that she would still love to have me as a guest even if I wasn't at the wedding party. I was devastated. I had spent so much time and money preparing for the wedding, and now I was just replaced at the last moment with absolutely no consideration. To make matters worse, I found out later that my parents had also known about this, but no one bothered to tell me earlier because they didn't want me to create drama. It was offensive and quite humiliating. I told Mia to enjoy her wedding and that I'd rather not attend, and left without a word. It has now been around 10 months since the wedding, and things have only gotten colder and colder between me, my parents, and Mia. I still haven't forgiven them for what they've done and have been waiting for the perfect moment to take revenge. Last week, I finally got my chance. So around 2 weeks ago, I got engaged to my boyfriend of 6 years. He proposed to me on a hiking trip, and no one knows about it except the two of us yet. Now the fun part is that last week was Mia's baby shower and gender reveal party. She planned a huge event inviting a lot of people. The event was at this fancy poolside restaurant. She was going all out, basically. I got an invite too, and as soon as I saw it, I knew what to do. I knew it was petty, but I just didn't care. I told my fiancé about the plan, and he was hesitant but knew how hurt I was at getting ditched last minute by Mia, so he agreed. We went to the party and I wasn't wearing my ring. We went along like all the other guests, and just after the gender reveal was done, they're going to have a girl, in case anyone's curious, and the baby shower was about to begin, my fiance took charge and told everyone he had an important announcement to make. All eyes were on us, and my family looked utterly confused as to what was happening. Ha ha. My fiance made a dramatic post about how much he loves me, and seeing Mia and her husband so happy together made him realize he wants to have a family of his own. He then went down on one knee and proposed to me, and I obviously said yes. You guys can probably imagine how the party went after that. All eyes were on us, and people were congratulating us. I had successfully managed to turn Mia's party into my own, and I knew it was all everyone would talk about. I barely cared about how Mia would feel about that she didn't care enough about my feelings during her wedding. But a while after the announcement, my fiance came up to me and whispered that Mia was furious, and he had heard her crying near the ladies' room. I admit I did feel a little bad, but overall, I don't regret it at all. She had it coming for what she did. The party was yesterday, and I've gotten just one text from my mom saying that they're all disappointed in me and can't believe I could do this to Mia. AITA for stealing the thunder at my stepsister's party after what she did to me? Update 1. I did not expect to get so much hate from my post. I get it. Some people think getting all the attention on what was supposed to be her wedding day was a little petty, but I think what she did to me was equally petty, and I deserve this revenge. To answer your questions, no, I still haven't spoken to my parents or Mia about the whole thing, and neither has my fiance. We were the talk of the party, and I actually got quite a few messages from people who were at the party congratulating me later, and I haven't got any hate at all. You're all entitled to your opinion, of course, and I don't care that some people think I'm TA. Thanks to everyone who's shown support and validated my decision. Update 2. Mia and I had a huge fight, so I just got off a call with her 30 minutes ago, and honestly, I'm really pissed off. She sent me a super long and dramatic text about how I ruined her big day that she was looking forward to and had spent so much money on, and stuff like how she couldn't believe how selfish I was and all that. It just triggered me, and I called her. I asked her how it felt knowing something you spent time and energy on being taken away from you without a warning, and she dared to sound surprised and asked me what I was talking about. I obviously brought up the wedding, and this just caused another fight. She called me childish for holding a grudge, and I told her that this would have never happened if she had the decency to apologize to me and return the absurd amount of money I spent on her bachelorette trip as her fake maid of honor. She called me petty, and I just hung up. At this point, I don't even care what she thinks about me. My fiance is sort of on the fence about the whole thing and is feeling guilty about the proposal, but he's still on my side. We just want to move forward without all this family drama. I wanted my revenge, and I've got it, and I don't intend to ever fix my relationship with Mia. Update 3. I got married. It's been a few months since my last update, and I thought I'll drop in a little update. It was a small ceremony, but perfect. No one from my family was there, and I haven't spoken to them since the gender reveal party. Neither do I want to. ESH, was your sister insensitive and rude to replace you like that? Yes, she was. And that's why she's TA. But come on, you're grown adults here. Why can't you let something that happened almost a year ago go? If it's about the money, then you could have asked her to pay you back for the Bachelorette after she replaced you as MOH. It's clear that your ego was hurt and you just had to make it about you, and I think that's childish. You both need to grow up. NTA, I love petty revenge, especially when the person deserves it. Your sister is childish and used you to fund her bachelorette fantasies. I wouldn't even be surprised if the whole fight with her best friend was a lie to get you close and get your money. Your fiance is a great dude to be on your side and play along. YTA, this was completely petty and uncalled for. If this thing bothered you so much, you could have just confronted her earlier instead of ruining her whole day. Shows a lot of immaturity on your behalf. Get a life, maybe. I feel bad for your fiancé that he has to play along with your idiotic schemes. Next story. For context, I, 20, male, am half East Asian on my mother's side and half Middle Eastern on my father's side. Born and raised in Australia. I look almost entirely Middle Eastern. For as long as I can remember, my members on my mom's side would tease and make jokes about my appearance. Growing up, my nickname was Brown Guy in their language. When I was like 9 years old, my cousins and I came home after playing outside all day, and I teased them for having tons of mosquito bites while I barely had any. My auntie overheard this and told me that's because the blood of brown people just doesn't taste as sweet. My mom was FaceTiming her cousins from overseas one time and asked me to talk to them. As soon as she passed me the phone, they said, "What the hell is Osama bin Laden doing here?" There were countless instances of shit like this happening throughout my childhood, and it definitely caused a lot of insecurities about my appearance, heritage growing up. 3 years ago, my uncle on my mom's side held a large dinner party at his place with many family members attending, including some from overseas. We were all at a table eating when one of my aunts cracked the usual racist joke about me, and everyone started laughing. I genuinely don't remember what she said, but for some reason this was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was at that age where I knew how wrong racism was and how I needed to stand up for myself. I legit exploded. I stood up and told them that I've endured their bullshit for my entire life and I finally had enough. I said that I regret being born into such a stupid, uneducated family and that there wasn't a single adult in the family that I respected. The whole table went quiet and I demanded my mom to drive me home because I couldn't stand being around them any longer. My aunt tried to apologize and say it was just a joke, but I stormed out the door. When I got home, my mom told me she was extremely disappointed and embarrassed by what I did. Said I was overly serious over a harmless joke. She told me everyone in the family genuinely loves me and didn't wish me any harm at all. She went on to show me a photo album of my aunts and uncles holding me as a baby and talked about how much they helped her get started in Australia. She said that although no one in the family got a proper university education, they all worked their asses off to come to Australia and give the next generation the opportunity to do so. At this point, I was crying uncontrollably and felt extremely bad for what I said. They've stopped the jokes ever since. AITA? Additional context. Everyone on my mom's side speaks very limited English. I can speak in the East Asian language pretty well, but nowhere near fluent enough to fully express myself, so there's a bit of a language barrier. My parents split when I was young, which is why my dad's out of the picture. Another reason why I said I didn't respect anyone in the family is because some of them have very controversial views on certain political issues that I'm not going to get into. NTA. Try and stop letting your guilt bother you. Jokes aren't funny if they seriously offend the subject. It's good that you exploded, or they may have continued their ignorant behavior in perpetuity. Now they'll think twice, not just with you, but with other people or family members too. You did a good thing. I'm going to say NTA. I like to be optimistic and try to see the best in people. What I mean by this is that I'd like to think that if you had sat down with your mother, then some of your closer family, and had a heart-to-heart, that you might have been able to be heard without having the explosion. The hope with that would be that your mother understood. Then you could be with her on your side, and advocating for you when you talk to other family members. They get the message that their casual racism was not appropriate, and eventually the message gets out, possibly even just through social cues, and the crap stops. Of course, that's my optimistic point of view. You got the message across, and you made sure that you were heard the first time. Next story. I'm 26 female. My boyfriend, Dave, 39 male, are in a difficult situation with my boyfriend's son, Alex, 20 male, from his first marriage. We also have my son, 2.5 months, and a newborn daughter who's now 3 weeks old. Alex moved in with us back in May. When Alex asked to move in with us, we agreed as long as there was some ground rules. Clean up after yourself, throw away your own trash, and keep his bedroom clean. We let him have his own bathroom as a way to compensate for him having to sleep on the couch. We have a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment, and my toddler has the other room. Save up for his own car and keep all dangerous items out of reach of the kids' hands. We didn't ask for rent or any household chores to be done. Well, in the 6 months he's been here, he has failed to do any of what we asked of him. His bathroom is always gross, and he doesn't throw his trash away or take care of his open snacks dishes. He does work but has no money saved up. He spends it on weed and junk food. We have had multiple talks with him about this with no change. The last couple of months, we have fallen into some financial hardship due to the rising cost of living and me being off work for maternity leave. We talked to Alex saying that we will need his help both financially and with the dog house after the baby's born. He agreed to help out. I also had a very traumatic C-section. He has not been helping like he agreed to. We applied for some emergency state relief to help until we got back on our feet, but we needed Alex's pay stubs or a note from his manager to get it because he is a member of the household. He had over 2 weeks to get either one. He didn't do it despite us reminding him many times and stressing how important it was and why. He kept saying he would get it, but was always at his friend's house, and when he did work, he still didn't get it. The deadline came and they canceled the application. Alex screwed us badly, and despite our talks with him, he does not seem to care at all. So now we are in a very tough position. Alex causes a lot of stress and grief when he's here, and even causes issues in mine and Dave's relationship. Alex also treats his dad like crap and makes him feel terrible for really stupid stuff. There's so much more I can't fit here too. Both of us agreed we don't want him living with us, but at the same time, this is Dave's kid, and he does love him despite how much he pisses Dave off. He's also only 20 years old, so it's not like he has his life together. Problem is, he doesn't seem to be trying either. I know he can be a good kid if he tries, and I really do want him to be successful in life, but he's making our lives hell. I also don't want to leave him without a roof over his head, even though he told me he has somewhere to go if we lose the apartment. We are having a hard time with this situation, and I wanted an outside opinion. NTA for asking this dude to clean his shit up, but you are also dating a man 13 years your senior who has a child your own age. Of course he doesn't have his life together. Neither do you, girl. You gave this man almost old enough to be your own father 2 children. Stay in your lane and have your baby father hand his own grown-ass child. Move in? He sleeps on your couch. He doesn't have a home. He has a place to sleep. Why the frick should he even care if he's one step away from being homeless? ESH, all 3 of you. The condescension for someone who's closer to your age than your boyfriend is really something else. Originally had YTA, but everyone in this story is an AH. Alex for being a freeloading slob, and your boyfriend for putting you in a position where you need to be a parent to his son that is old enough to be your sibling. You also aren't married. Dave should be parenting his own kid. You are barely older than your husband's kid. Of course he isn't going to listen to you. And Alex probably isn't listening to his dad because he has lost respect for him. What a mess. I suggest therapy for Alex and Dave to work out their issues before you just kick him out. I imagine Alex is feeling pretty upset with his dad, and that needs to be worked on first. YWBTA. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.